Australians have the highest allergy rate in the world.
Now, the remarkable new treatment that's offering relief for allergy sufferers.
We'll show you a new treatment that some sufferers are calling a cure.
A radical new drug-free treatment is now available in Brisbane.
Allergy-related conditions are the most common cause of chronic illness in developed countries around the world. In fact, experts are now proposing that there is a global epidemic of allergic diseases. Allergies and sensitivities have more than doubled in many countries in the last 25 years. And research suggests it may be a consequence of the changing environment. There's also evidence that antibacterial cleansers and more hygienic indoor environments may be preventing robust immune systems. What is clear is that something is causing a global allergy epidemic. The World Allergy Organization estimates that between 25 to 40% of populations now suffer from allergies, and the rates may be even higher for hypersensitivities. In countries like New Zealand, rates have climbed 50% in just 10 years. And in America, more than 50 million people suffer from allergic-related conditions, costing the healthcare system over $20 billion annually.
Australia has one of the highest rates of allergies in the world. 1 in 3 Australians actually have an allergy now.
If you believe the experts, we've scratched, swollen, snorted and sneezed ourselves into a national allergy epidemic.
It has gotten worse. Australia's allergy rates have doubled in the last 25 years.
From the increasingly processed and chemically enhanced foods we eat, to pollens, pets and all sorts of natural products, allergies are now a major drain on our health system. Why? Well, the most common theory is that quite simply we've become soft. Natural bacteria is cooked out of our food, our homes and workplaces kept spotlessly clean and free of germs. In previous generations, exposure to those germs and bacteria, which used to naturally toughen our immune system.
Really the only fruit that I tolerated was pears.
Take Jenny Sale, for example. One taste of any fruit or vegetable and she was violently ill the whole next day.
People just actually think that you're a bit loopy and that you're making it up, and you know they don't see the symptoms that you live with afterwards, because unfortunately it would often be, you know, between 2 and 8 hours later that my reactions would show up. So by then they were at home sleeping in their bed while I was up all night.
I was pretty much having to watch every mouthful of food she put in her mouth.
Bridget Backer's big problems were wheat and sugar. No fun when you're a kid, as Mum April explains.
She was always in pain. She had a very bloated stomach to the point where she wouldn't even let me touch it or put clothing on it. She suffered from gastro constantly, and at its worst stage, she had big dark circles under her eyes and her hair was actually snapping when I combed it.
Well, it means that I have to worry about every time I'm going to do something, I have to worry about whether I should have it or not, if it's going to impact on the rest of my day, if I'm going to feel unwell, whether I can do my normal work, that sort of thing.
Sandra Domevsky pays a high price for life's greatest temptations: alcohol, coffee and chocolate. We've tortured you with coffee and chocolate.
Yes.
How are you feeling now?
Well, my nose is starting to play up a little bit now, a little bit sort of dry and inflamed, and my stomach's just slightly a little bit unsettled.
And how long will that last?
Well, it can last for a while. It can last for a good couple of hours.
So, Sandra, we're going to be treating the caffeine today.
Okay.
But now American-born Dr. Dawn Nolan says she's found a cure for some of the most debilitating allergies we suffer, using a radical spinal manipulation to retrain the body's nervous system, while exposing patients to the very substances which trigger a reaction.
I'm going to go ahead and put a sample of the caffeine on your skin, just to expose you. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and stimulate some points along your back. Well, first you have to understand that an allergy is simply an error. The body's reacting inappropriately to a harmless substance. And what we're doing is correcting that error. And how we can do that is by creating a positive association with the substance.
Dr. Nolan says in cases like little Bridget Backer, eating a lot of wheat and sugar during a serious stomach illness as a child resulted in her body associating the illness with those foods and reacting every time she had them afterwards. But now, with one treatment per substance, Dr. Nolan says she can cure her.
It does seem too simple to be true, but the fact of the matter is, if you look at an allergy, is just a perception from the immune system. It's perceiving something as harmful when it's not. All we have to do is change that.
It sounded so bizarre to me. I was very sceptical, how can this work? But then once they explained to me that really they were just retraining her nervous system and I had absolutely nothing to lose, I thought I'm really going to give this a go because no one else can be this positive and offer me a cure. So yeah, it was pain-free and it was drug-free, which was really important to me.
Bridget, Jenny and Sandra are all in different stages of treatment, but each says for those substances they have been treated for, the results are extraordinary.
I took it slowly after the treatment, but within a week she was eating Vitabix for breakfast and wholemeal bread with no reaction.
So when you say completely cured, you mean can now eat anything, no reaction?
Absolutely. She can eat anything and she is pain-free for the first time in 3.5 years.
Except veggies.
Except veggies. She doesn't like veggies.
Developed an allergy to veggies.
Yeah, like most 7-year-olds.
Sandra Demevsky says she can enjoy her morning coffee without ruining her afternoon of work.
It just means I can relax and enjoy myself a lot more and not have to worry about whether I'm going to react to something.
Fantastic. I mean, it really is almost like a miracle because for a long time there's actually been no known cure for food intolerance.
Jenny Saal says while no one can pinpoint how it works, she only cares that in her case it has worked.
Just to be able to go out with my husband for a meal now and not have to be so careful what sauces, etc. that I have on my meals and what foods that I eat, and telling people I can only have this vegetable, not that vegetable, has made a huge difference.
The key to the success of the Sensori system is the extensive research into the allergens causing the reactions. The symptoms of an allergy depend on which system is affected in the body, but the cause is the same for all allergies. An error in perception. The body is reacting inappropriately to a harmless substance. If the error in perception is corrected, any related symptoms, regardless of their nature, can be resolved.
The body can accept the substance as harmless and no longer react inappropriately.
The correction is accomplished through a process called positive conditioning. By exposing the patient to safe levels of the allergen, while strengthening all of the major organ systems simultaneously, the body associates the positive stimulus with the allergens and no longer perceives it as harmful. The therapeutic stimulation of the organ system is the same on all patients. The challenge of the treatment is identifying the exact allergen. For over 15 years, Sensori Therapeutics has worked with an extensive collection of allergens and substances responsible for hypersensitivity reactions. In treating tens of thousands of patients, Sensori Therapeutics discovered that many of the substances thought to be responsible for various forms of reactions were in fact inaccurate. The actual culprits were far more complicated. The human body is in a constant state of interpreting whether substances outside or inside the body are acceptable or a threat. All substances are perceived as signals or information. A toxin is registered as dangerous information to the system. Vitamin C is registered as beneficial. However, the process of interpretation may become impaired. The body can begin to confuse the signals or information coming into the system. What becomes complicated is that any aspect of any substance may be targeted as a threat. If a person has seasonal allergies, the reaction may be to pollen, or it may be a reaction to a specific plant molecule, such as a plant phenolic. By simply addressing the common substance such as dust, pollen, or animal dander, the treatment may not be successful. The exact component must be identified. As the advanced allergy therapeutics treatment continued to evolve, it became necessary to obtain countless samples of these microsubstances. The only solution was 21st century technology. Through continued research, it was discovered that the body could read information from various forms of signals. All substances carry information on the molecular level. In fact, biological functioning is dependent upon the exchange of energy and information with the environment. When a substance comes into contact with the surface of the skin, the body can immediately recognize the substance through a transfer of information. If the substance is highly diluted into an allergen mix, the body is still capable of identifying those molecules upon contact. The Sensori system took this one step further and utilized digital signals to represent the substances needed for treatment. The body is able to recognize the signals as the actual substances.
This revolutionary breakthrough opened the doorway to the most sophisticated therapeutic technology available in the treatment of allergies. The discovery of using digital signals to expose the patient to an allergen made it possible to treat the countless microsubstances responsible for both allergies and sensitivities, particularly the vast number of hidden allergies contributing to so many conditions.
In fact, many allergies could not be treated without the technology, since actual samples of the allergens and their components would have been impossible to obtain.
With this innovative digital technology, there is virtually no limit to the scope of allergens that can be treated.
The Sensori Therapeutics Virtual Library of Allergens is the most comprehensive in the world. Allergy sufferers no longer have to avoid wheat, corn, dairy, red wine, pets, chocolate or coffee, perfumes, or the outdoors. The Sensori system also made it possible to treat allergies to stimuli, such as heat or sunlight. It's now possible to enjoy all those things that were once off limits.
After the first treatment, it was amazing, just amazing. I had absolutely no pain, and I've had no pain since.
I put it in this perspective. If it can help, if it's simple and doesn't do any harm, why not try it? And I did that, and it worked.
I don't know how it works, but I know it works. And for me, it works. It's fantastic.